Okay, we're back again. Now, I got some old paint and paint trays here, and what I did is I mixed the titanium white. I did about maybe a half a pea size, and I added some water in there, and it's on the creamy side, if I could put it that way. And I'm going to take the excess off, and I'm going to try to show you what I'd like you to do on here. We're going to start. First thing I better do is get my magnifiers on, wherever I put it. There we go. So I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Now, what I want to enhance is this. I'll call it a brow for the sake of saying, give it a name. I'm going to come up in here and enhance this with the white. And as you can see, it's brighter than what we've had on before. So I'm painting both sides of this, coming right up. And I just want to brighten an area. If you don't paint the whole thing, that's okay, because if you have a little gray in there from the ghosting that was there before, that's fine. Now, I'm going to, and again, you want to get the pointy brush, and I hope I'm in range here, that I'm not getting you lost or anything. But the lid itself here, the eyelid, I don't want to go into the black, but I want to get that point and just touch that lid just a little bit. So you do need a real thin brush like I'm using here to get in there to highlight that. Okay, and it's going to come over a little bit more, just like that. And then I'm going to come over on this side, just like that. Okay, let me come back here just a hair. Just hope I'm in camera range again. I'm just about touching it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, what I also want to do is I'm going to charge up my brush again, and I'm going to come in, and there's white that goes all around the beak, and I want it to look hairy, so I'm going to come in and stroke what looks like hairs, because the paint should be able to come in not heavy, but heavy enough that you can make this stand out and look feathery looking. And then you're going to come down and you're going to highlight under the beak as well, because we want to get this white. I'm going to go back and charge my brush up again. And I'm going to get under the beak and come down. And then I'm going to spin this edge to go white. Hope I'm in the range again so that you can see this. And like I said, this is somewhat of a project in painting. I know when I got into this, I had second thoughts about maybe teaching this bird, because I don't know if everybody has the patience to want to paint this so meticulously, but this is how we do it, and I'm going to show you on this one. Most birds aren't this torturous as far as painting goes. So here we go again. I'm going to come up here, and I'm trying to just drag some of that feathered edge up onto the beak, but very little. And then we come down and around. And come back here. This is a little wider on this side. Hope I'm not out of camera range again. This comes back to about here. A little bit more. And I hope you can see and you don't want to put your fingers on any paint. So be careful with that. Widen this up here. And then I'm going to carry this down into here. I'm trying to drag this down. So this area, right around the beak in here, is going like all white, white. Okay. We're going to be playing around here a lot, but this is just a start. And if you could see that, that's what I'm trying to do. It gets the white right up to the beak, so it looks like we have a feathery edge. And even with the color sort of coming through a little bit on the underneath side, it gives it a nice blend. At least that's what I'm trying to achieve there. And I hope you can see that fine. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to we did the breast area on the last video. Well, we're going to go in and we're going to do some enhancement on that too. So I'm going to charge my brush up again. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to come in here. Remember, we did here's one big feather here, and we gave it 2 coats of the burnt sienna. And we had touched up a little bit with white in there. Now we're going to enhance it. So I'm going to come in here and brighten it. And you'll see some of that. See how the white shows up there? Now I'm going to come in here, do the same thing. And what I'm trying to do is stroke it in if I can, and give it like a feathered edge on the top where the barring is. I don't want to go into the barring, but I want to break it up a little bit so everything doesn't look so uniform, like you just stroke paint around. If you dab it in, it'll break it up a little bit better. Now this paint, if I could stress, is like on the creamy side, you know? So I'm going to come in on all of this, and you got to stir that paint up or you'll get separation too. You'll get it. If you have too much water in it, it won't flow right. So you got to play with it a little bit to get it to want to, we'll say, stain or intensify the color. So I'm coming in here, and if you notice, I'm sort of dabbing it and trying to follow the barring. And you have it done already from before, so here we go again. It's almost repeat, but it's it gets you set up each time to get a build-up of the color. And this is how we try to achieve it. And I'm going to stick with the white for this video just so that you can get this done. And I'm trying to give it to you in segments so that you don't get overloaded, because I'm going to have several painting chores to this bird, and I just want to give you a steady portion for each area of the bird, and doing a build up as I go. I will jump around a little bit, but in the case where we get the white just the way we want it, now we gotta utilize that. So we used it on the brow to brighten that up, or I should say the lid. We also did the brow. We did around the beak, and we want to enhance all this in here. So if you come in and you come in and brighten up from away from the beak, probably a 1/4 of an inch down, that's good. Okay. And then we're getting down into the breast area. So we charge up the brush again. Always take the excess out, and then you come back and like I said, I'm trying to get my point in there and dabbing it rather than just a sweep. This is me. This is what I do as far as I'm trying to make the bird as realistic as I can. And these are just my ways of trying to achieve that. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's a way of getting there to show you how to paint enhance the bird. And it's a little tedious, and I will, for those who had sent your pictures in of finished products and stuff like that, I want to show one that has the owl. The gentleman, I am going to publish that. I haven't forgotten you. Where after he got it done and he burned it, it looked so good to him, burnt, that he left it that way. So I can understand if he sees how much painting we're doing now, you may want to just do that, you know what I mean, and rather than to get into this painting chore. But if you want to learn, I'm going to give you how to do it to enhance the look of the bird. And this is the way I do it with paint, and it's not all just right out of the tube. I'm using a little bit of water, but I kept this on the creamy side, so it would be a little bit heavier. And depending on the brightness, if it gets too bright, then you add just a little bit water, but you don't want too much water, or it gets to be like a wash, and then you don't get the intensity. You get a look like this. Now we're going to brighten this up here too. Now I've done a few of these, and you can see they start to stand out a little bit more. And to me, some of these are still gray. Okay, they may need another coat, but right now I'm just it's an experiment on how you mix it and how it comes out. Now, I've done this grouping right in here, and if you noticed, I didn't go all the way up yet. I did it right about from here, a little below the shoulder here, down, okay? And I'm going to do all of them that way. But what I also want to do is concentrate in here. I want to show you where we had the white in here. I'm going to come in, and we are going to enhance the white here too. So I'm dragging that through, making sure I stay within the feather. And we did put some of that raw sienna into the feather, so I'm not going to go all white. I'm going to leave some of it there, but so it does show through, but I'm going to do a lot of the rest of the feather. See, the feather comes all the way up to here. I'm just going to get the lower portion of that, and I'm brightening that up. We're going to even add more. I'm going to have white streaming from here over eventually, but not yet. So this is just a build-up of what we're trying to achieve. And if you ever get with somebody that's, doing competitive work, putting coats on of different paints is part of the act. And if anybody who has been there and done this, you know what I'm talking about. It's a build up, and you have to have the patience to get the look. And I'm going to also show you something too afterwards, that if we don't get a certain look, or we look too, like, remember how we swept some of this just by walking the brush over and down here? I did this with dabbing, little strokes, just using that fine point brush here that I'm using. You get different looks, but you can also come back in and burn some of this in. So this is after you paint it now. So that's another technique, that I've developed that is showing you another way of enhancing your piece to make it look more realistic. And I'm always into trying to do different techniques. Now I'm coming in here. Let me just drag that up a little bit more. And I'm brightening that up a little bit. And you can see that it's not like white, but it's getting there. And I will also, and I'm not going to do this now, I'm just going to try to get you to get these techniques where you're doing the last portion of the feathers in the breast area. Below the last, you got the last bar, and then it's white. We're enhancing that now. Okay, and then I'm going to come in on the breast area. But if you notice, I always try to mix my paint and stir it up, take the excess off, and then come back, because you don't want it heavily loaded up, and you want it in control. And there's no runniness to this at all. This paint is like, the only way I can describe it as being cream color. Okay, so you can see that's enhancing. Now I'm going to get you to do all of this, but then what I'm going to do later is I'm going to wash some white down through here, and I'm going to have some white coming from here over. So this is just a top coat, for these. Now, getting back to these last group of feathers in here, running out of paint. Let me charge this up again. We're coming in here, and if you notice, I'm still trying to dab it to enhance these bottom feathers. and still stay away from the barring, because the barring's coming through. But you're below the last, you got the last bar and then it turns white. So you got this. And this is the game we're playing. You're adding these in. Now, once these dry, then what you can come in is you're going to get the same mix again. And I would say these are probably dry because I've been playing around over here. I'm going to ask you to come in on the tip, half of this distance of the white. I'm going to ask you to come in and just stroke the ends like this. Okay? So it goes from a gray to even a whiter white. And that is going to be just on the bottom of the white. You're only doing just the tip, okay? And I'll try to do a couple more here. And what it does, it enhances that white just on the tip. So you're going from a gray to a white. Don't forget to stir the paint up, take the excess off. And then I'll do it on this one. This should be a little more showy here too. I'm going to hit this. And you're just coming up here like that. Like this. Now, say you got that lowered. All you want to do is rinse your brush out and get all the paint out. And then you could come back and pick that right up. Okay? And then if you had to, you can come in with a paper towel or tissue and just absorb that. Okay? But you want to get all this done and then come back, like I say, after it's all dry or dry everything, and then come back and then just hit this bottom edge. Now that's, see, when it doesn't show up, then I know I don't have enough paint on there. So I'm going to come in here and you'll see it brightens up that bottom edge. Okay, and you want to get that like that. So you're going from a gray to a white, and that's on the second coat. Okay, I wouldn't concern myself as much in the center as you do for all these ones on the bar. Okay, so why don't you get that going, and I want you to complete all of these. And again, it's these right here, just off the top of the shoulder here, down. That's your breast area. You don't want to go into these yet, okay, at all. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it. And then on the next video, we'll march on. And remember, you got to highlight this down the middle on both, so it brightens up the center area, and then come around and you're getting the pull the paint in on to the beak a little bit, so it looks like a feathery edge. I don't know if you could see that on camera, and you're brightening this up, and it comes down on an angle. It does come in onto the face, and then it sweeps down to about here, and it sweeps down to about here. And then you're brightening up everything about a 1/4 of an inch from the beak down, white, okay? So, hope you got something out of this one, and we will proceed on the next video, and we may just jump onto maybe the wings to get that going too, and the mantle, and I'll show you. There's there's some shadowing that's going to go on in there and stuff like that. But we're not done on the breasts. Trust me. There's going to be white, even though we didn't highlight the white and we painted some of this in here. We're going to put a white streak in here as well, but it's not as strong as these guys. And that's to show that the breast has white down further, and then it sort of gets lost in there. It's almost like these are separating, and that's what we're trying to give the illusion. So hang in there with me. And like I said, if you got something out of it, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have a friend or somebody, if you could pass my information on. I do all kinds of things. Right now I'm doing the birds, but I've done otters and cardinals, and I've done Carolina wrens, chickadees, you name it. I have a listing, and there's a whole slew of videos out there on these. And if you need patterns or equipment, I have catalogs available. And if you would also give me a thumbs up, that all helps in my algorithms for YouTube. So hope you got something out of it again. And I'll see you on the next video. And just work with the white right now and brighten some of this up, okay? And we'll see you then. Bye now.